AntiGravity is one of the most powerful AI tools I've ever used, and that's the problem. These power AI tools are much like power tools without guardrails. They don't make you as productive as they make you dangerous. It's like giving a raccoon your car keys. You know, technically it's got hands, it can do something, but it's definitely not what you want. So this video, very exciting. We are not building an app. We're not doing some hype crazy demo. We're setting up AntiGravity so it actually meets the hype, so you can go and execute the crazy build ideas that you see on YouTube every single time without becoming some sort of prompting ninja. Quick bit of housekeeping. If you don't have AntiGravity, you can download it at antigravity.google. Google AI Pro gives you a month for free. You get some spicy models and larger context windows. I'm not going to talk about that. Can assume you can press buttons. Let's just talk about the thing. Okay, so here's what normally happens on what I've seen repeatedly in my community. Usually people watch this really cool YouTube demo. They open up AntiGravity, throw some wicked long prompt at it, and it does something very impressive right off the top, and then it immediately digs itself a hole. That's not because the model's dumb. It's actually because it's got too much freedom. These new really powerful thinking models are like very motivated interns. You know what I mean? If you don't give them any guardrails, they will confidently sprint head down in the wrong direction for as long as you let them. So today I'm showing you the setup that keeps things tight, accurate, and repeatable. Same inputs, same behavior, same results every single time. After this, you won't need clever prompting. You won't need your lucky rabbit's foot or anything like that. You can actually start using this thing like a director as intended. Some of these might sound basic. Some of these are absolute game changers, but we're going to start from the beginning and moving forward in order because order matters. Very first thing, very first step, and the thing I see a lot of people, even in my own community, get wrong right off the hop is they don't start in a project folder. You need to treat this like a workspace and not a chat window. AntiGravity is not ChatGPT like plus some extra powers. It's a workbench. And I know this is the part that might sound basic to a lot of you, but I see it go wrong. So we're going to start here. For myself, I've got a projects directory on my desktop, and every project I'm working on has its own subfolder. We'll open that up and then we work in that space. If you don't open a folder, you can still build stuff, but everything floats around in a temp file, and then good luck finding anything later. How about this? It's like spreading your work across the entire garage and then wondering why it's a mess and like where all these pieces are. Just don't do it. Start with a folder. One thing I do is I have a new folder with my basic stuff here, and then I can just like copy this, copy, paste, and any new folder I can always rename with my files in place to start. And we'll just open this one for the sake of this here video, right? And I'll go down to YouTube. Ta-da, open this folder. This is our workspace for now, okay? And you'll see these two markdown files here. We're going to talk about that in just a second. They are kind of the guardrails that I was talking about to hedge the enthusiastic intern sort of thing. The next part is your kind of don't be dumb settings and your guardrails for this agent. This is massive, and it was the absolute night and day difference from when I first started using this platform and when I started using it and using it successfully to make money. Some of these are in the AntiGravity settings themselves. This takes 30 seconds, but like we'll save you hours of prompting and reprompting. So we'll just go over to the editor settings, AntiGravity. So review policy, we're gonna go to agent decides, that is fine. And terminal command auto execution, make sure that is set to off. Auto executing terminal commands is like handing literally the whole keys to the project over to the agent. So I do not recommend doing that for production environments. If there's something self-contained, like you got a sandbox, like absolutely let it rip, just see where it goes. But like you do not wanna do this with like a live project or anything like that, because it could go very wrong very fast. So these are the in-house settings that I would recommend. Make sure that you can review the actions before they actually take them, is all I'm trying to say. The next layer of our don't be dumb settings is an actual safety manual that I've called behavior.md. It gives it guardrails and it dictates exactly how it proceeds with the project and asks for your approval essentially as time goes on. I'm going to link to this file. You can get it for free in my Skool community, but essentially, or you can screenshot this. I don't really care. But essentially it is, I'm going to read this off too. It's rules like don't guess credentials, don't auto run destructive commands, stop and ask if something's missing, opt for small changes, and don't freelance improvement. This file here takes it from the model having to figure things out to being more careful. The rules are already written and it won't proceed without checking this sort of safety guideline first. So this layer is really how it deals with tasks, and the next layer that we're going to do is how it deals with the entire project, how it proceeds and organizes things, what it does, okay? I stole the basic structure from this from Nick Sarayev. Guy's an absolute legend. You should check him out for sure if you're not familiar, but I've added some things here. Essentially, this is how it builds out the project, and it answers questions before the agent has to ask. I'm going to read this off here too. So it's like how tasks are approached, how changes are made, what processes to follow, how the project is organized, that sort of thing. It's the entire structure of this agent. And the most important part of this whole thing is we tie it back into our behavioral sort of safety rules off the top here. Okay, so behavior guardrails are defined in behavior.md and are mandatory. If conflict exists, behavior.md takes precedence. That line is huge. It doesn't allow for your agent to do any crazy leapfrogs without you saying yes first. So agents.md is like the overarching structure of this agent, and the behavior.md is like your guardrail. Without these two files, the agent is a freelancer. It just kind of does does whatever it thinks is the best sort of answer. And that could be 3 or 4 steps removed from what you actually asked it to do. With these files, it clocks in and does the job. This is how you stop your power tool models from driving the raccoon car into a brick wall. And if you run these files every single time with every project, it's consistent and it stays within the guardrails. Like you saw on mine here, I have the new folder with these files in it. And whenever I start a new project, I copy this and begin from there. So the next game-changing hack about anti-gravity is skills. Skills are kind of a hot topic right now. Everybody's talking about Claude skills and anti-gravity skills, but at the end of the day, they're simply markdown files, much like the agents and behavior, that tell the agent exactly what you were doing before. Some really good use cases for that are like UI patterns that you repeat. So for landing pages, scraping patterns that you repeat, you have a markdown file for that, landing pages, voice agents, whatever. Things that you do more than once that you can scale out. Creating these skills files is pretty simple. Once you actually build out the project, you just ask AntiGravity to generate a repeatable skills markdown file that you can use later on for other agents to describe exactly how and what we are doing in this project, okay? And then you put them all in their own file like so, where you can repeat all sorts of different stuff that you want to do more than once. No reprompting, no starting from scratch, and that is how you scale without losing your bloody mind. I know the video said 5 hacks, but there's a bonus one I really want to tell you about because it is a game changer. AntiGravity has native MCP servers, and this is crazy. This is what, in my opinion, changes anti-gravity from being just good to like next level, like everybody is kind of hyping it up to be, because it gives it access to all these different tools that can make production ready full stack apps. Okay, so the best one I would start with is Supabase. This is the backend that a lot of your projects will need. You can do like logins, databases, all that sort of stuff, and you just follow these instructions and connect Supabase. MCP, click install, right? With your access token, let's go get one. Generate new token, name test, right? Generate token, just gonna copy this, right? You go over here, boop, saving, and now it's got access. Let's take a look at the tools it's got, right? Search the docs, list organizations, get organizations, project. You can do all of these different things with your Supabase backend. And this isn't a toy, this is like actual production grade backend software that you've now got access to within the front end and the crazy LLM world that you're working with on anti-gravity. It's kind of wild. Okay, so I usually recommend starting with a read-only task when you're getting in here once you've started, dealing with your project, so that you can give your LLM a bit of an idea of what you're working on rather than just like jumping in blind. I think this is a lot of what bigger YouTubers don't talk about because it's less flashy than the one prompt crazy front end that they build out, But this is the difference here. This is what makes anti-gravity actually usable and not just flash. So a quick recap, my friends, always work in a folder, set your default settings, use behavior and agents.md to actually give your agents direction on how they're gonna proceed with these projects. Start with the same template every time, like have a folder that you can reuse, and turn repeatable work into skills. Then try out connecting to real tools like Supabase with MCP. You only need to do this once, and then after that, all your projects are working the same way every single time. It's super consistent, super predictable, and you get ahead of 90% of the people using this platform. If you want my exact starter setup, the agents and behavior.md files, you can get those from my Skool community, or you can screenshot the video from here. I don't really mind either way. Next video, we're going even deeper. This is kind of like the baseline knowledge that you need before we do anything else, but we're going to connect to N8N, build some, real automations, actual applications, and the stuff I'm actually using this platform for to make real money and pay my bills. Let me know what you're working on when you join the Skool community, and I'll see you in the next one.